guys, welcome back to the channel. Today obviously we have a vinyl video, as you can tell by the expanded set. Since this camera does have a little more of a fisheye wide angle lens, you are able to see a little more of the set, a little bit of the stereo, some ICEs actually. But enough about that, let's get into the album that we're going to be talking about today. So the album in question is Chicago's 10, or Chicago X. This would be Chicago's 8th studio album and 10th overall album, released June 14th, 1976. Now, if you're confused by why this would be their 8th studio album and their 10th regular album, I suggest you watch my video on Chicago 8, where I explain a little bit why there are 8 studio albums and 10 regular albums. It's complicated, it's weird, it's a whole thing. So, length of this album is 38 minutes and 12 seconds. Very digestible, underneath that 40-minute mark. It's only a 2-sided disc, no double disc. And the genre is rock. Now, Chicago's previous albums have been jazz rock fusion. This one is specifically stated as rock. And I'll get into that a little bit later. This album went 2 times platinum in the United States and sold quite well in other countries such as France and Canada. The album peaked on the Billboard 200 at number 3, and this album was nominated for and won a Grammy for Best Album Package. The album package, or the album cover, was designed by John Berg, and the album cover is in the permanent collection of the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. The way this album cover was described was it was supposed to emulate the way Hershey bars were wrapped back in 1976. So as you can see, we have the Chicago logo on a bar of chocolate being unwrapped. And then if we open the gatefold, you'll see that there is the bigger bar. We'll show this cover a little more when I throw this album on the desk. Singles that came from this album were Another Rainy Day in New York City, If You Leave Me Now, and You Are on My Mind. With If You Leave Me Now, got to hit number 1 on the US charts and won 2 Grammy Awards, this being the album's first ever Grammy. And some people know Chicago for this song. I personally knew this song before I knew what Chicago was. Now, my thoughts on the album. Compared to my favorite Chicago album, for example, which would be Chicago 8, which directly precedes this album. So it went Chicago 10, Chicago 8. So Chicago 8, Chicago 10. It's a whole thing. Someday I'll probably go through the list of albums and explain them to you guys. But today's not that day. So, as I said, this album is rock. And I feel that this album moves a little from Chicago's jazz band with rock elements to rock band with jazz elements. For example, if you listen to the opening track on this song, it is rock, but it has brass and saxophone in it, with little jazz licks here and there. Now, the thing with rock is that rock is a derivative of jazz, so therefore rock inherently has jazz in its roots. So I think that the jazz nature of Chicago lends itself very well to the rock genre, especially for this album. And I really do like this album. I'd say this is probably in my top 10 favorite Chicago albums. This is a very solid album. I really, really like this one. Chicago 10, or Chicago X. Not sure really how they say it, because I have seen it as 10 and X, because I know for their Chicago 30 album, it is sometimes called Triple X. So I don't know if this is regular X, like the iPhone, but I really do like this album. It's very solid. I feel that it has a really nice, easy feel, but the music doesn't lack direction. There are a couple albums, I can't really name any off the top of my head, but I have heard that are very laid back and relaxed, but the album seems to go nowhere. It doesn't resolve. It doesn't have a start, middle, and end. It just is there. There's music. It's good music, but the way it's laid out and presented is not the best. This album has direction. The music is going somewhere. It starts, it stops. And that's what I really like about this album. With it being a little more laid back, it is still going somewhere. It still has direction. It keeps me intrigued the entire time. I want to know what is next. And that is one of my favorite things about the band Chicago. Their first two albums lack this a little bit, but still have the music qualities to make up for it. But albums like Chicago 8 and Chicago 10 really show this skill of the band very, very, very well. Now, for this review, I will show a little bit of Action on the Turntable, and we will throw this album on the desk to take a look at my copy. And like I said, there will be a playing demo, and I will play If You Leave Me Now. I will play a little bit of that, because I do get a copyright claim, but I do not get a strike, which I'm fine with. So you guys can still see the video, but the album, the video might have an ad run by Chicago on it to make up for lost revenue. DMCA is weird. YouTube's copyright laws are dumb. It's all stupid, but I don't really care. Anyways, let's throw this album on the desk and see what it looks like. So what has happened is that the audio that was recorded and mixed in OBS did not actually show up on this video. So you're listening to my voice on Audacity in post. So basically what I'm showing here is little ring rash. You know, not too bad. You can see a little bit of it. The cover is just a little worn out. It's not the worst that I've seen. Now, you can see this chocolate bar design that I did say was part of the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. It's part of their permanent collection, and it's got the chocolate bar look of the 70s Hershey bars. You can see me moving my hands. Now, as we open the gatefold, you will see the full picture of the tinfoil with the chocolate, with the bigger Chicago logo opening up to reveal the smaller logo on the chocolate bar and the little Columbia logo in the corner. Now, on the inner gatefold, you'll see a cool picture of the band being chased by a cop because it appears they have taken a police motorcycle. Now, I don't know if it's a Chicago cop. I would have no way of telling. I don't know what the Chicago uniforms looked like in 1976. But besides the point, he's being chased by a cop. And now, if we pull out the album and its sleeve from the regular bit of the album, you'll see we have the full chocolate bar. Just says Chicago, front and back, same thing. And there was something else inside the record sleeve. Thick cardstock, and it is a lyric sheet. I do like when albums include lyric sheets. It is quite helpful. I mean, nowadays you can Shazam it, of course, but it is quite nice to have physical lyrics within the album, because obviously you didn't have Shazam or Google back then to just Google the lyrics. Right here I'm supposed to be showing you the band members, but I butchered the names, and I don't want to reread them because I'm going to butcher the names really bad. And plus the video I'm watching right now, I can't actually read because the blurriness. It's a little out of focus. And then down below, it's just got a couple other credits below it to other auxiliary members of the band for strings and aux percussion. Just silly stuff like that. So that was the lyric sheet. And here I'm going to pull the album out of its sleeve. And as you can see, the album is in quite good condition. It is not too worn. It does have a couple signs of wear where the higher notes are a little pitchy, but other than that, the album is still in pretty awesome condition. If I would have to put it in terms of my average album in my collection, it's on the higher end. There's no deep scratches or groove wear, unlike my Chicago 2 album, which does have quite a bit of wear and some scratches in it, which makes it unlistenable with headphones and tolerable with speakers. I am looking for a better copy of Chicago 2, but with the price that I paid, which I believe was either $5 to $7 for the Chicago album, Chicago 10, I am very pleased with the condition. And I had picked this up before the big vinyl boom in 2020, where vinyl actually outsold the CD for the first time since I think '85. I did pick this up before then, so I did pay a good price, pre-inflation price, pre-market value for this album. I've noticed that secondhand albums of this nature are starting to become closer to original MSRP, which is pretty scary, but also pretty cool. So flipping over the album again, other side, not pristine, but very good condition. Once again, the album is very good, and the such. Right here, I am talking about wet rubbing. Don't dry rub. That creates static. And if you don't have something cool like the Milton Anti-Stat, I would highly advise against dry rubbing your albums. It's not good for the vinyl at all. It can scratch it and create surface static and all that. But anyways, thank you for watching. This has been RNC Music, and I am out.